So I'm actually challenging myself to come up with something true and perhaps useful to say from my time in silence. And I came up with some true, and I don't know if they're useful words, from immediately emerging from the silence in my on day 10 of my recent Vipassana meditation. Then I immediately went into solo travel, city explorer life, and then back here to California, where I'm living right now. And on this particular day, I did my 1 hour sitting this morning, and I just had to find some sun and warmth. So I drove in the traffic over the hill to this park, one of my old favorites, although I keep wondering whether there's a squirrel coming up behind me and wanting to go into my backpack. But one of the instructions in Vipassana was not to meditate outside as a beginner, that the elements would potentially interfere with the sensing of the inner bodily sensations. So I obeyed that instruction there, and then today I just did a little sitting here in nature, focusing on my bodily sensations. Also not being able to deny the many nature sounds and human and machine sounds around me. And what I'm noticing is doesn't matter where we are, where a physical body is, the training is to develop, my perception of the training is to develop some relationship with our own bodily sensations, which are not separate from us. But when in meditation, it does seem like a real shift in focus from the default state, which for me tends to feel like a lot of thinking and a lot of reactions of trying to get away from, analyze, or rebel against whatever it is that I happen to be doing at the time. So when that all settles down, and right now I describe that feeling as the image of like the pulp in a juice kind of settling to the bottom, and the clear liquid remaining where it was always, but the pulp then slowly settling down. And that settling is what I experience about 40 minutes in to my 60-minute meditations at this point. I'm guessing it's about 40 minutes. Today I actually didn't check the clock at all during my 1 hour, which was a first. So what's left after the settling is this awareness of what's happening in the body, which is not separate from the self, and yet at first it does feel that way, like labeling, heart beating, lungs moving in and out, weight of my arms, tingling in the left thigh, these kinds of things. It does feel, when we name body parts, it does feel like an object that we're observing, and yet when our attention is completely focused on the activities of the body, is it separate? Or are we actually in that moment truly one? And what happens when we put that oneness into nature, which is fully one with itself at all times, and nothing else is possible. So that's kind of level 2. I find I've done several meditations since I've gotten back on the beach, and it is challenging to tune in beneath the loud sounds and feelings of the ocean, of the waves crashing and the wind. So it's easy to use those sounds as soothing mechanisms and focus on those sounds as a way to kind of sit there all day, but to be in the body and to experience the true body sensations in that environment is my current practice. So I'm not going to really say anything about trying to convince people to do Vipassana or to try to, share my reactions or understanding of it, because it's really a very individual thing. Something that you either experience or not, and choose to practice or not, and it really doesn't matter to me personally whether anyone else does it. But I'm very grateful that there are centers around the world that are providing that very, very unique space to experience something that, in my belief, I guess, it's more and more vital and unique in the noise that we live in and the stimulation levels that we, just the average person, is exposed to with phones and images and sounds and video. So to have a space where it's possible to even spend 10 days in silence and to sit for the number of hours that we do is extraordinary. And so I just express my gratitude for that.